you can find nowhere in history where you got the blacks, the colors. People were known by different tribes and tongues and flags. So that's what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali wanted to drive home and keep out front. So you don't need to operate under a granted privilege. But if you cling to names other than your free national name, then you will be subject to operating under a granted privilege. So some people, like I say, the newbies are saying, oh, well, we sovereign and indigenous. And you got to understand who you are saying that to and for what reason. And the reason why I say that is this. Number one, I'm not sure what a sovereign citizen is in America. I'm not sure.
And people think so. People think when they're using sovereign, it means they're not subject to certain laws and regulations and enforcement by the police in particular. Like they're going to get a, hey, I don't have to obey this law. I don't have to show you ID. Well, that's not true.
No, let me tell you. See, you got to be careful because some of it is true, some of it's not true. Certain states you don't have to show ID. See, that's part of the law. Certain states you don't have to show ID.
Certain states.
Yeah, yeah. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to abide by the law. So whatever the law is, the same law that you think is going to protect you, the only way you can get that protection, you have to be a citizen to get the protection. Because if you are a non-citizen, that protection is not afforded to you. People talking about, yes, it is. Well, then they wouldn't have all the people that they had in Guantanamo Bay. They wouldn't have been there. They would have been protected under the American Constitution. But you had to be a citizen to be protected under the American Constitution. When they were at war, you were in another country. You wasn't protected by the American Constitution, so they had to come up with something. The Geneva Convention, they come up and say, hey, these going to be the rules of engagement when you have war. You don't do this to our people. We don't do that to your people. See, you mentioned that. And now let me give you a bit of this. I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1980. I actually learned a little bit about the doctrines, and I think I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, I want to say maybe around June of 1980. And then studying the teachings of the Prophet along with other histories, I understood our position here in America. The Prophet, in fact, spoke about us being good American citizens. All right, so now we have to look at in the last, I want to say maybe within the last 15 to 20 years, it has been a new surge of identity. It has been a surge of identity profiling and identity theft in regards to the Moorish Science Temple of America. When people, I call them newbies, almost like millennials, they want to come and say, being a Moorish American or being a Moor, you are not a part of the government at hand, the USA government or the Republic government, that they in fact are sovereign from the government. That's not the position of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Let me make it clear. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali is not the founder of Moors. He is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not make Moors. You are born a Moor. But what people have did, they tried to use Prophet Noble Drew Ali, since he is the one who laid the foundation for us being Moorish Americans in this country. They want to try to build a whole bunch of fallacies on top of what he left. And they want to try to make it appear that the information that he left is so ambiguous that you have to be some type of scholar to figure, or some type of, you have to know some type of Da Vinci code to figure out what he said. Oh, well, he didn't really mean that. He meant exactly what he said because he was speaking to the common people. He wasn't speaking to real sophisticated individuals with a lot of smoke and mirrors and clandestine behavior. No, he wanted to be plain to the common people just as well as Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was being plain to the common people because the people at that time, about 40 to 50 years out of slavery, or you might say 70 years, some people fresh out of slavery, they didn't have good formal education, so he don't need to be very clandestine with what he's trying to tell the people. He's trying to tell the people as best he could in the best language that he could about who they were, what their position was here in America, and don't let nobody take that away from you. And by letting nobody take that away from you, he gave us nationality cards. He let you know, this is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish Temple of America, and birthrights for Moorish Americans, etc. So he think, you know, matter of fact, this
and why would a group of people want to give up part of what they're owed as the richest country in the world?
Come on, like I say, we have these newbies thinking that this is just a blow up. Okay, I don't know how I'm wearing this. And this is a blow up of nationality. You see what this is, what Prophet Noble Drew Ali like. You know, your information goes on these lines. And then he states right here, I am a citizen of the U.S.A. Right. That's what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stated. Because he also stated in our divine constitution and bylaws that we are organization. We are our organization. Act 5 of the divine constitution and bylaws, it says, this organization of the Moorish Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. This is what your prophet told you. This is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So those that adhere to the teaching of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, they should be obeying his laws. In Acts 6, he says, with us all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name. See, you got to proclaim your free national name right here. This is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is telling you. Proclaim your free national name. See, as we tend to look at that and we really think about the importance of nationality, national decency. See, you got to proclaim your free nationality to be recognized by the government in which you live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited northwest and southwest shores of Africa. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali had us firmly planted in the government. And being firmly planted in the government, this is, I was looking at this earlier, and I wanted to make sure, because if somebody wants to be upset at something or try to challenge something, I'm challenging the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his information. He says here, this is the divine warning by the prophet for the nation. It says this, the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family, bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of, as has been the existing conditions for many generations.
That phrase, granted privilege, you emphasize it. Explain what.
Now, you know, so we going back to like some civil rights type of stuff. We talking about granted privilege.
You're born with the right, you're not given it.
That's right, that's right, that's right. That's what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is letting us know. You know, you operate under the free national constitution, and there's certain rights alluded to you as being a free national citizen. All right, so a national citizen is saying, yeah, I have my nationality. I'm not a Negro. You granted, Negroes operate under granted privilege. The blacks operate under granted privilege. The coloreds operate under granted privilege. But who are these people? And receive their divine rights as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine and national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world, and through it that their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, as they can cast a free national ballot under the free national constitution of the state government and not under a granted privilege. Now, if it's not none of our people and not none of your people, we don't have nothing to say. They don't fall under no veil of protection. So I say it's simple, and it's simple to me. I'm not gonna let nobody come on my block in my area of control and think they can go rogue. It just doesn't happen. You would have anarchy and chaos. Somebody show up on your block one day and say, you know what? I'm gonna take over that house because I simply like that house and I feel it's due to me. Where I came up at, that wouldn't be the best route to take. Because you don't have to worry about the policy enforcers, because whoever owns that house, whether they're in the house or not, they will enforce a law on you. So you got to wake up and smell the coffee. Cut all that nonsense. It's just ridiculous that you think you can go and take over somebody else's property simply because you say you're indigenous. Well, if you're indigenous to the land, you got to know the laws of being indigenous. Simple as that. It's a set of laws that goes with being indigenous. But they're not the laws that you know about, because those laws that you want to keep talking about, they fall under the Constitution. It's a different set of laws for people, First Nation people, and people that are want to be sovereign. You have no protection. That's why they can subject you to all misuses and abuses, and all you can do is talk about it. Well, I'm gonna write them up and write them. Who are you gonna write up? You're gonna write the boss up. All right, then who does the boss answer to once you have written him up? He wrote the laws. You need to get with some Native Americans and you need to find out. They told me they got stacks like this of things that were written up that he said that he was gonna abide by, and he done canceled everyone by executive order. I cancel that. So you thinking you're gonna write something up for something that you didn't even make? You have no enforcement arm at all. You have no enforcement arm. Who's gonna enforce what you say? You think that, oh, because I wrote it up, now they're going to abide by it? No, they're not going to abide by it. They don't even abide by the things they write up themselves. So the best protection you have is the protection of the American Constitution. That is one of the better protections that we have. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he even spoke about the protection of the American Constitution. And I want to read that because Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he covered all bases, and people want to try to bounce back and erase what he already covered. I like this right here. It says, and Mr. Moorish, it is the Moorish leader's historical message to America. It states this. It says, the Moorish Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States.
Mohammedan means Islamic for the person doesn't know that.
Exactly. Gotta cut that off. Oh, whose phone is that?
That's mine, yes. I'm on the books.
In the United States, it's considered by them in terms of something new. The Mohammedan faith. Whatever the reason may be for their opposition, the legal rights to oppose citizens, pay attention to that, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious beliefs does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. Without religious freedom, no search for truth will be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, progress would be checked and we would no longer march toward the noble life which the future holds for the races of men. Without religious freedom, there be no inspiration to lift up our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men for their religious beliefs. And if there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition. Possibly, love in time will cancel our ancient hatred in this regard and prove that in mankind, tolerance is better than unwanted opposition. In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intense as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power, better position for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes will follow our economic security.
Wait a second. Those words were written way back when?
This was written around 1928.
So nearly 100 years have passed, and those same
1928.
things can be said to be true.
Said true today because this type of truth does not change.